Hello, welcome back to Sandra's Shelf. I've never been this excited to be back. I took a little bit of a break, and that's because I was actually going to combine two of my YouTube channels together, but then I decided that it was not going to work out that way. But now I'm back in full force. Silas is here as well. I think he's a staple at this point on this channel because he's always popping in and out. But yes, so for today's video I decided, why not just go big, okay? Why not talk about 25 life lessons I learned in 25 years, because about a week ago I turned 26, and yeah, it's crazy. I can't believe that I started this YouTube channel when I was 24, 23, and now I'm already 26. I don't know, time is flying. Without further ado, we're going to go through these 25 life lessons I learned in 25 years. Quarter of my life is past. I can't wait for the next quarter, and that's something I never thought I would say in life. I used to be so stressed about turning older and life passing by and etc. But now I have this newfound appreciation and comfort with growing older, life, and just having that belief that life doesn't end at a certain age. It just keeps on going, and every year can be a great year. So yeah, that's a lot of mindset change on my end, but we'll get into it with the life lessons. So without further ado, let's get started. My first life lesson is, don't underestimate the power of journaling. Genuinely, journaling has saved my life so much, and it has transformed my life so much. And I say this all the time, but I notice a drastic decline and being stuck and being held back in life whenever I'm not journaling. And when I'm talking about journaling, it could be both personal journaling, career journaling, or intentional journaling. So I have journals where I talk about my day-to-day or my emotions, and journals where I talk about my life. And now recently, in the last month, I've been inspired to start journaling where I do my morning pages, because I was reading The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron, and it's really a great practice for artists to start writing and to set goals and intentions to be more connected to the life that they want to lead. But I've also been starting this new thing where I'm scripting a page a day as to how I want my life to look like. So these two new journaling practices have already transformed my life greatly. I feel so motivated to come back on YouTube. I feel so much more confident, and I know that I'm going to, and I am achieving everything that I set out to. And that's the great thing about journaling. You get to see how far you've come, and you get to analyze yourself, and you get to really fall in love with your own life and with your own story. And honestly, I just highly recommend journaling. Just start. Don't care about what other people think. Don't care about if someone's gonna find it. Don't care about any of that. Don't care about any of that. Start journaling for you. Start journaling the way you want to start journaling. If that's bullet journal, if that's one line a day, if that's writing only goals down, whatever it is, just try it and see how it might change your life for the better. My second life lesson that I had to learn is to work on my self-concept. Now, self-concept is literally how you see yourself, how you present yourself, how you view and feel about yourself, right? And for a very, very long time, I used to degrade myself so much. I used to put myself down so much. I used to be riddled with self-doubt and just be proud of self-deprecating humor and stuff. And it's not that it's not funny, I still can make a joke here and there, but it's not the same anymore. Realizing that you create your own self-worth, and that you teach other people and show other people how to treat yourself with the way that you view yourself and the way you treat yourself, is literally a life changer. Because before, I used to be such a people pleaser. We'll come back to that after. And I used to just put myself down and be oh, I'm not that great of a writer, I'm not that great of a YouTuber, I'm not that great of a person, I'm not that great of a daughter, not that great of a partner, etc. And it's just even if I didn't 100% believe it, the fact of saying it made me believe that. And it kept me stuck, and it kept people that are not good for me around me, and that people that liked me having low self-esteem. So improve your self-concept, understand your self-concept. It's very important. At the end of the day, you have yourself, and you really need to treat yourself like you are the best, you are loved, you are everything, and like that, other people that you attract or you keep in your life have to meet or at least be at that standard. My third life lesson is it's important to spend time alone. Now, I'm very much an introvert. I think I've come to the term that I'm more introverted than I'm extroverted. I might have spent more time like proving that I could be extroverted than really feeling like I'm extroverted. But having said that, there's a difference between spending intentional time alone to discover yourself, to, process your emotion, to be okay, just being as a person in the universe alone. And it's really hard to process everything all the time when you're in certain environments. Maybe you're at school, you're at work, or you have a big family, or you live with family or with a partner. It's really hard to get those pockets of time truly being alone and feeling alone. And I think that's why a lot of people encourage people to live alone for a short period of time, and that's something that I want to do in the next year. I want to go out and live somewhere alone. I want to travel alone. I need those pockets of time alone. I like to spend a lot of my time alone to reflect, to analyze, to just like decompress and just be intentional with how I feel and what I believe how things should be. And I think that's why journaling is a really good practice as well, to give you that focused time. So spend time alone. You have yourself more than you have anyone else for the rest of your life. So you might as well love spending that time alone. And it's nothing against spending time with people. We need collective, we need community, we need love, we need relationships. But to strengthen those, you need to be really strong with yourself first. So similarly, my fourth lesson is to cultivate your own garden first. Now, this is something I used to struggle with a lot, because in the past, especially when I was in relationships, I would try to cultivate the other person's garden, try to teach them things and show them a different way, or be there for them and always available for them. And same thing went with my friendships. So I felt like I was growing all these people. Meanwhile, I felt like I was being so behind and so left apart and left alone. And I couldn't understand what was going on and why my garden wasn't growing, why I wasn't advancing in life, why I wasn't feeling great, why I wasn't having all these things that I wanted. And it took me a while to realize that you cannot water someone else's grass. You need to water your own grass first. That's why you will always think that the grass is greener on the other side, because you're watering the other side, or you're letting other people water the other side without, having that resource to water yourself and to, let other people water you as well, right? Sorry, the analogy keeps on going, but that's what it means to cultivate your own garden first. And then when you have those resources, you can start helping others, and you can, make sure that that your garden is green, so you're not always chasing other people because you've invested that time for yourself. Lesson number 5 that I had to learn is that people pleasing will literally ruin your life. And I'm not saying this lightly. Like, literally, when you people please, when you become this fake version, this inauthentic version of yourself, just so that others can like you, just that you can feel accepted, just that you can boost your ego, you start to become so miserable. You start to even become sometimes resentful and vindictive and secretive, and there's so much buildup of all these negative emotions, all these emotions that are tied to this fake alter ego, this fake identity. Or even if it's not fake, even if you people please because you can't help it, you're still not gonna feel happy because you're not pleasing yourself first. You're not doing things intentionally. You're not putting yourself, your needs, your values first. You want to people please other people, and actually what ends up happening is that you enable other people in their bad behavior. You literally hold yourself from the person you want, the values you hold, and the needs that you need to grow and to be happy and to be loved and to feel secure with yourself and with others. So people pleasing actually doesn't help anyone at all, and it causes this fake sense of attachment, security, and love between you and others, and even between you and yourself. So get rid of people pleasing. Understand when you intentionally want to please someone else, but without, straying too far out from yourself. My sixth life lesson is to be as delusional as you can be. Because honestly, people that have big dreams, they didn't think small things. They didn't think, I'm gonna make $1 billion just by thinking I'll make like $1 a day or something. You know what I mean? Like, they had that very crazy self-confidence, self-belief that, whatever I want, I can have and I can be. So you need to be so delusional that things will just start falling into your lap. Of course, I'm saying this as if like that's how things work, but that's because that's exactly how things work. That's how delusional I've become. And the more delusional I've been becoming, the more things are just flowing in life because I believe that it's gonna happen. I believe it already happened. So it's not for everyone. This is one of the more contradictory, advice. And honestly, I used to be that person that used to think that people that were super delusional or whatever, just like faking it, or they're just kind of like being wacky for no reason and like trying to cause attention. But that's not true. I think I grow to that point where I understand that if you think small, you will be small. If you think big, you will be big. If you attract big things, you will attract big things, vice versa, right? It's a lot about like the law of assumption and the law of attraction. And I might make more videos on this topic later on, but I do believe being delusional in, the good ways, in the ways where you want to improve areas of your life, is a good path to take. My seventh lesson that I had to learn is that you need to heal your inner child. Your inner child has so many wounds sometimes that you don't even recognize them as wounds anymore. You don't even think that, you can fix or you can change yourself because you're so used to yourself. You're like, oh, well, I was like this since I was a child. I was like this since I was a teenager. I was like this since I was 30, 20, 10, and that's exactly how we make excuses for ourselves. Like, literally, even like your family and friends will say like, oh, you've always been like this, you've always been like that, and that's literally how you keep yourself stuck in a box. That's literally how you keep replaying the same wounds. That's how you don't, face what has happened or what has caused you to be a certain way. And literally, wounds is the assumption that something wrong happened or something, a trauma hasn't been, addressed or assessed or, filled in, right? So it's just gonna keep on building and it's just gonna keep on being there. It's like, if you get shot, you're gonna wanna get the bullet out eventually. You could probably live with it, some people do, for a bit. But when you're at that critical point, you need to get that gunshot wound out, right? And you need to start healing. And it's not gonna be perfect, but it's gonna be so much better than like walking around with a gunshot wound that can fester at any time, right? So healing your inner child is very important because these wounds will keep on showing up until you heal them. And don't you want to be happy, like at the core, like be happy and at peace, not having that little itch at the back of your head that something is always wrong and something will always be wrong? I think that is really the inner child wound that needs to be addressed, because I have felt that for a very long time until I realized that I had to go back and heal my inner child to stop feeling those type of really bad, devastating, self-sabotaging emotions that manifested as a wound. Now, the eighth life lesson that I learned is also very important, and is that you can only save yourself. That means that you cannot have other people saving you, and you cannot be saving other people. I've done this mistake a few times with myself and with other people, and at the end of the day, you will feel depleted because you will notice that no one is going to come and save you, and you cannot save another person. You can help them and you can let others help you, but at the end, if you don't accept that help, if that other person doesn't accept that help, then they're not helping themselves and you're not helping yourself, and you will not be able to save yourself or the other person. So honestly, it's that intentional desire, wanting, and taking those actions to actually wanting to improve and help yourself and to get out of a certain situation, right? Nothing in life is for free, and this is the same thing here. It has to come from an internal drive to wanting to be on this life, to wanting to have a better life, a different life. Any changes you want to make You have to have that inner desire and then that inner drive and that inner cultivation and consistency to change. Nothing happens overnight, right? So you cannot save other people. Like, you will literally drown trying to save others, and others will drown trying to save you. So that's why at the end of the day, you can only save yourself. That doesn't mean medication, therapy, people, community, family, etc. That means that you cannot have those if you do not deeply inside decide and desire to want those, okay? So that's what I'm saying. And I'm saying this as someone who's tried to attempt on her life multiple times, someone who's, self-harmed for like over a decade, etc. Like, I've had substance abuse, everything that you can think of under the sun. You guys already know at this point in time. I've been there, and I know it, I see it. It only stopped happening when I chose it, okay? When I worked on it. And that's exactly what I'm trying to explain here. The 9th life lesson that I learned is that no is a full sentence. And actually, I heard this life lesson from an Elizabeth Olsen interview. That's the younger sister of Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen. And she was, being interviewed, and she said that her sisters had told her that no is a full sentence. And it got me thinking that every time that I have been saying no in the last couple of years, I always wanted to justify no, or like, no, but this, and no, but that. And like, it came back to like people pleasing and having poor boundaries and just wanting always to please others and be viewed in a certain way. But now I'm starting to understand more and more as I grow older that no is a full sentence. And sometimes I will even tell people around me that were used to me always saying yes or always saying maybe, and having my mind change, that no is a full sentence. And I'll be like, no. And if they keep pestering, I'd be like, I said no the first time, and I will continue to say no. And then I'll say also, no is a full sentence. And I don't care, because no one's gonna push me, intimidate me, manipulate me, lie to me, gaslight me, anything to do things that I don't want to do anymore. No one's gonna unless you have a gun to my head, I will probably still say no and suffer the consequences. But no is a full sentence, and that's how I want to lead my life moving forward. My 10th life lesson is to let yourself be curious. Nothing is more stagnant in your growth and in your life than not being curious about anything. I think you have to be curious about the right things. So not about like celebrity drama and gossip, but if you want that, go ahead. If that's your cup of tea, if that's really what lights you ablaze, then why not? But when I mean curious about travel, curious about other cultures, curious about learning a new language, curious about reading new books, curious about watching movies that are foreign. Like, doing anything that is outside of what you currently know will bring you so much more fulfillment, bring you so much more knowledge, and be more connected to the world as it is, right? Because I think we're so used to seeing a certain way, and I think that's why I've always loved traveling, and I always love learning about different cultures and languages, because I will never see life as it is living in another country, because I haven't lived in another country, and vice versa, right? Curiosity is actually a great trait to have, and it's a great thing to develop. You can actually develop a curious bone. It's not something that, if you've never been curious in your life and suddenly you're curious and you want to be more curious, you can totally happen. I've seen it happen in other people where they've never wanted to stray outside the lines. They never wanted to know anything new, and suddenly just being around someone who's very curious, they're like, maybe I should be curious too. Maybe I should discover this thing too. And it's life-changing. Honestly, I recommend it. My 11th life lesson is to stop getting in the way of your dreams. And the way that this clicked is when I watched Tony Robbins give a talk in this live show with Matthew McConaughey, and Tony Robbins came in that last half hour of this show. He was saying that one day he confronted his daughter that was finishing up high school. She had great grades, she had everything going for herself, but the one thing that she really wanted is to be a dancer, and I think it was a Broadway dancer or something like that. She wanted to go big with dancing. And then one day, Tony Robbins sat down with his daughter and he asked her, so how far have you come along with your dreams? And then she responds something along like, well, I'm doing well in school, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, yes, I hear that, honey, but like, how far are you with your dream, you know, your dream goals, your dream life? And then it kind of like flipped a switch in her, and suddenly she decided, okay, she's gonna go and pursue dancing, which is her dream. And the next month or so, she moves to New York, and you know, he helps her out, but she also has to pay for her dream, right? He's not gonna just hand her everything for free. And from there on, not only did she become a dancer, but she was also on Broadway, and she sent her dad a ticket. Just that idea of like, how far are you with your dreams is something that makes you go like, whoa. Because a lot of people abandon their dreams, put their dreams at the very, very back front of their life, you know, and it's very sad because we just lose that ability. The more we ignore it, the more we're gonna ignore it. And I don't want that to happen. I always dreamed of being a famous YouTuber, or like, you know, just a well-loved YouTuber. I always dreamed of growing an audience online. I always dreamed of traveling the world, and I've always dreamed of becoming a New York Times best-selling author. And these are things that, like, okay, might seem like small dreams to others, might seem like big dreams, might seem like unrealistic dreams, might seem like, oh, you're such a dreamer. But to me, they're realistic. They're real. There are other people doing it right now all the time. And I go and I watch them and I listen to them talk and I listen to them, how they came about their own path. But I know I have to follow my own path and I need to put my dreams first. So yeah, that's just something that has left me thinking a lot in the last year especially. So I self-published my first poetry book, and now I want to continue, and I want to traditionally publish other books, and I want to keep on writing, and I want to keep on making videos, and I want to start traveling by next year. So follow your dreams. Your dreams are some of the most important things that you'll ever do, accomplish, and, you know, strive for in life. Life lesson number 12 is don't always skip the event. And now, what do I mean by don't always skip the event? I mean, like, don't always skip the concert, don't always skip the get together, don't always skip the travel opportunity, don't always skip the new job that, you know, possibly pays less but makes you more happier. Don't always skip the author event, don't always skip the free events, the paid events, all the events. Don't always skip everything all the time, because you will miss out. And those are things that can be very enriching, not only to your personal life but to your professional life and to, you know, your inspired living. So don't always skip out, but don't always go to everything either, right? You need that fine balance of like going out, doing the things you love, going and exploring new things, even things that are out of your comfort zone, and also, like, you know, having time to be focused and do your own thing and find inspiration from yourself, right? So don't always skip, but don't attend everything either. Life lesson number 13 is stop living in a scarcity mindset. Scarcity mindset tells you that you cannot make X amount of money in a day. Scarcity mindset says that you cannot follow your dreams. Scarcity mindset says that you cannot heal your inner demons, you cannot heal your inner child, you cannot find the ideal relationship, you cannot get the ideal partner, you cannot get the ideal job, you cannot get anything. That's scarcity mindset at its finest. It's telling you that you're poor in every aspect of your life, starting from your health, going to your relationships, to your finances, and also to your dreams. It will literally destroy your life, keep you in a box, keep you small. It will literally help you prove all the things that you've been telling yourself, that you're always poor, you're always ugly, you're always uninspired, you're always this, when really life is abundant, everything is available at all times to all of us, everything is possible. So once you get rid of the scarcity mindset, life will change drastically. Honestly, drastically. Believe me, you need to have an abundant mindset. If you want to be rich, if you want to be famous, if you want to be loved, if you want to be this and that, in the good way, you need to be abundant, and you need to think abundant, and you need to feel abundant. It's not just, saying I'm rich, but if you're feeling like that you're poor, checking your bank account and saying like, oh my God, I'm so poor. That is still not abundant mindset. That is still coming from a place of scarcity mindset. And that is very hard for people to first come to terms with, because you're gonna be like, well, That's crazy, because facts are saying that you're poor, but you think like you're rich and you're acting like you're rich and you're believing that you're rich. I can't help people that think like that anymore, because that is, again, scarcity mindset at play, and I don't want that mindset anymore in my life, so I'm not aligning with it. So I just believe I'm rich, I believe I'm famous, I believe I'm a great writer, I believe that I am so much more than what I even am. So be delusional and be abundant always. Life lesson number 14 is to embrace failures. Failures are a natural part of life. You know, if you don't embrace failures, then you have fear, and then you have fear of failure, and then you never start to take risk anymore. You never do anything with your life. Failures are a good thing. They teach you a lot. As someone who is a writer, I know that there's going to be a lot of failure in my career as an author, and it's just part of the path. Like, literally, if you think that anyone succeeded on the first try, it's very rare, and it's not accurate. Even going to the gym to achieve the body that you want, you're gonna fail. Basically, if you think about it, every day that you go to the gym is a failure until you get to that day where you feel like you got that body that you want, right? But every day is not a failure. It's actually a success. Even failing, even going the first few days where you can go only 10 minutes on the machine and you're like, I'm pooped. That is a success. These failures, so-called failures, are not failures. And even if they are failures, you need to accept them as failures, because only through failure can you find success. Only through continuing through failures will you find success. Life lesson number 15, consistency over motivation. Now, this is something that I struggle with a lot as someone who has ADHD and as someone who's like very creative, and I'm like all over the place. As you guys know, that I struggle a lot with consistency, and that's why I'm putting it here, because I need to learn consistency all the time. And I also learned that consistency is not how we think it is. It's not always showing up every day. Sometimes it's showing up once a week. Sometimes it's showing up every second day. But the thing is, being consistent is better than being motivated, because if you're motivated, you might be motivated for only 2 days. However, say I'm motivated 2 days out of the year to write, and I only end up writing 2 days of the year, but I'm consistent in writing once a week or once every 3 days, then what does that make? That makes me 52 days of the year where I write, or 104 days a year that I write, right? So that's what we mean by consistency. Life lesson number 16 is that food is health. Nutrition is health. If you do not want to learn about nutrition and you want to continue eating whatever the hell you want to eat, I'm sorry, there are bad fucking news coming your fucking way, okay? Like, this is a hill that I might possibly fucking die on, and it makes me so angry that I'm actually swearing, because nutrition is key. Knowing what you're eating, knowing how it impacts your gut, your health, your mood, your face, everything is important. And this is coming from someone who has struggled with eating disorder, who has struggled with binge eating, who has struggled with having food addiction. And it's just so important, because that's literally like, the more you know, the more you understand why it works, and why it works the way it works on your brain, on your body, on your mood, on everything. So nutrition is key. If you don't like end up reading a book on nutrition or about food, then at least watch some documentaries or try to learn as much as you can. You know, like, I'm not gonna get on this discussion because I've learned so much about nutrition and I've tried so many different things, but I think that now moving forward, I'm on a much healthier path, not only nutrition wise, but eating disorder wise. Like, I understand the value of having a balanced lifestyle, but also knowing what I should and shouldn't eat. And I'm sorry, I do not believe in this propaganda that no food is bad food. There are food that are literally bad. Like, literally, even food that we are labeling as good food is meant to kill you in the long run. And it's just so aggravating. There's this quote that says that people love to have good news about their bad habits, and that's literally what it's like right now. That's what I see everywhere. It's all like that, you know. And I'm not saying that you cannot once in a while treat yourself or whatever you want to call it, but I'm saying that, like, it's the excuses that people say, that they're like, oh, well, you can still have a chocolate chip fudge cake from whatever, Reese's, whatever, every single day, you know, as long as you're looking lean and as long as you're eating like 80% of a balanced diet. And it's just like, it's mind-boggling. Like, do you tell someone you should consume poison every single day because you deserve it? Like, I'm gonna stop, but just know that food is health. Anything that you put in your mouth, okay, is health. So think twice before you put anything in your mouth, which is, you know, this goes with substances, drugs, alcohol, liquids, fluids, whatever, food, anything. So food is health. That's it. Life lesson number 17, reading will change your life. And I'm talking about reading everything, and reading diversely will actually change your life. I love literature. You guys already know I have a second channel that's only about literature and writing and etc. But even like financial literature, like reading books about money, reading books about investing, reading books about relationship, childhood trauma, about, you know, different things that you struggle with will open your life up. It will open something in you, will make you start thinking and asking the right questions in order to help yourself. That is the problem. We don't ask the right questions anymore. We don't even bother to ask questions. We just accept. We're like, I'm like this. Okay, all right. Like, but why are you like this? Sometimes you need to ask, why are you like this? Can you do something to not be like that? Like, it's like that correlation. Like, I do believe that readers are more self-aware and that they have more, you know, that ability to think in between the lines, to listen and be careful with what they say and what other people say, and, you know, analyze behaviors in themselves and in others, in politics, in the life, in media. So reading is a critical skill. Everyone should read at least a book a month or something, in my opinion. It might be a harsh take, it might be too much, but as someone who values reading and books, I personally don't know what else to say but that reading will change your life and will help your life. And I wish that more people could see the value in reading and consuming information that's not just, you know, instant, quick, and loaded with meaning right away. You know, like I think people should sit down, take some time, and really discover what the hell is happening to themselves, to the world, and everywhere, and read from different lenses, viewpoints, ages, times, backgrounds to understand even further. Life lesson number 18, never settle. I said it, never settle, never settle. I don't even care if I'm 55 years old and still single, I am never settling ever again. Settling is like the most disrespectful thing you can do to yourself. It's like knowing you deserve this, but you're like, I'm gonna take this instead. Why are you taking this? Taking this prevents you from having this, always. It will always prevent you from having this. Taking this is showing to yourself, well, you only will ever deserve this and less. Going for this, or waiting for this, or attracting this, shows you that, oh wait, actually you always deserve this and more. So never settle, please. Whoever's listening to this, I don't care if you're older, younger, man, woman, non-binary, trans, I don't care. Never settle. Do not settle. Don't settle with people. Don't settle with, you know, minimum things. Don't settle with like a half-assed life. Don't settle ever. Like, literally, there's no reason for settling. If you're settling, you're showing yourself you don't deserve anything. You're showing yourself you don't care about yourself. You're showing yourself that other people's needs and other people's, you know, intention for your life values more than your own life. So never settle, please, and thank you. Life lesson number 19 is go into the unknown. Now, this sounds like a really sketchy advice, and it could be, but it could also be a very transformative advice. So going into the unknown is going very deep into something that is completely out there, something that is completely different. It's literally like no man's land, and that means like it could literally be physical. It could literally just be like go on a hike somewhere that is unknown, but obviously be smart about it. Like tell people where you're going, when you're coming. I think like the problem with our society is that we don't take risk anymore, and the unknown is everywhere, but we fear it so much that we're not comfortable with it. So we're like, on the one hand, we're comfortable with death, we understand it exists, but we're so uncomfortable with it at the same time. We pretend that it doesn't exist. Going to the unknown literally shows you that, like, actually these things exist, and actually we have more fear than we think, and fear is what's holding us back most time. So going into the unknown can be no man's land, physically, mentally, spiritually, metaphorically. Like, going to the unknown would be also like going into a spiritual journey. I don't know, going into an ashram in India. Anything that you don't feel familiar with, okay, you can go into it. Don't lose yourself too much into it, and come back to yourself. So it's like going to space in a space travel, and then knowing that you're coming back home, because you also don't want to like accidentally join a cult or something like that, right? And if you do, well, come back and report back. I don't know, this is such a crazy advice, and I think I've always been this type of person that it's like, I want to go into the unknown, but I don't want to get too lost into the unknown. So it's like, you have to get lost, you have to go into that field, but you have to know to come back, right? The idea is to basically broaden your horizons without getting too lost that you cannot, recenter yourself. So go into the unknown, travel, reading again, and then metaphorically, spiritually, mentally, and physically go into the unknown if you feel so inclined or brave at some point to do it, because I think everyone has to do some kind of unknown journey at least once. How will you know that something exists if you don't try to get there? You know what I mean? It's just like, it's kind of like gives me that same analogy as to how people believe in a God when they don't see a God. It's like trust in the unknown, kind of the same, more or less, not really. So yeah, I'm more spiritual than religious, so if my analogy falls flat, I'm sorry about that, but that's what I'm trying to explain here. Life lesson number 20, perfectionism is not your friend. Literally, perfectionism is lying to you. Even the idea of like having 95% grades or something, it's a lie. It's a lie. Life is not like that. Life is not perfect. You're not perfect. People are not perfect. Nothing is perfect. However, accepting that and loving through flaws and loving through, being messy, being unperfect, will stop you from holding yourself back all the time, right? It's that idea that people that are less qualified than you right now, less smart, less pretty, less this, less witty, less intelligent, less empathetic, less whatever than you right now, currently out there living the life of your dreams, doing the things that you want and doing the things that are suited for you, because the difference between you and them is that you're a perfectionist and you think that you need to be perfect before getting to that goal or getting to that thing. Meanwhile, they're more brave and, laissez-faire. They don't really care, and they think that, they can have it. So, and that's what happens when you have a perfectionist mindset. So you need to let go of some of that and let yourself live and let yourself chase and go for the things that you want, even when you're not perfect, even if you're not at your ideal weight, even if you're not this, that, and this and that, okay? Improvement happens every day, every second of the day, but you're never gonna be perfect no matter what. Lesson number 21 is travel as much as you can. And you guys know, I love traveling so much. I want to travel more, and I'm going to travel more. By this time next year, you guys are going to see my life will be changed completely. I will be traveling the world. So traveling is so important. Like, you expand your horizons. Again, going back to that metaphor, you expand your horizons intellectually, emotionally, empathetically, culturally, everything. It's sad because some people have the means to travel and they still don't travel, whereas other people don't have the means and they still go to travel. And it's just like, there's so much to learn out there. Even if you don't want to do like long travels or faraway travels, even going to someplace else that you don't normally go in your town, in the town next over, in your same country, is considered as travel. Is to travel is to tread unknown territory. So going back into the unknown, going back into learning new things, going back into developing yourself, going back into being connected, going back into being connected with the world, connected with other people, getting outside of yourself. And getting outside of yourself helps with your ego. Get out of your ego, get out. Just accept life. Life is beautiful. Life is happening at all times, everywhere. It's not just happening inside of you. It's not just happening inside your home. It's not just happening inside your hometown. Life is everywhere all at once, all the time. Please travel. Please consider it. Please. Life lesson number 22 is to adopt an abundant mindset. Now, see, this abundant scarcity thing is so ingrained that I didn't even realize that I put it twice. So one was like, stop with the scarcity. Now is adopt the abundant. So abundant is everywhere, okay? It's everything all at once. It's spending money because you know money will come. Spending money because you know that money makes money. It's abundance, okay? Abundance. You are beautiful. You have the options. You have the capabilities. You have everything available to you all the time. Everything is possible in this lifetime. So be abundant. There are no excuses to being in a scarcity mindset anymore. Be as abundant as you can be. Be grateful, express gratitude, and accept abundance, give abundance, live life through abundance. If you want more videos about this, I will make at some point a video comparing what is an abundant lifestyle, abundant way of thinking versus scarcity lifestyle, scarcity way of thinking, because I feel like I have lived in scarcity for 25 years. Now on my 26th year, it's time to live in abundance, and I feel the abundance, and I am emulating abundance right now. So yeah. Life lesson number 23 is to establish boundaries. So it's the same thing with saying no is a full sentence. Boundaries is also important because you need to literally protect yourself from everything. I'm talking from family members to best friends to, predators to everything. So once you have stronger boundaries, once you feel more impenetrable, people will abuse you less, they will use you less, and they will get to you less. And that starts with you. And I'm not blaming victims. I've been a victim in the past. I've been in a victim mentality as well. So there is that fine line between being a victim and being in a victim mentality. So oftentimes victims start to adopt victim mentality, and oftentimes people that are not even a victim, been around people that have victim mentality, become victims or become someone who's so in that victim mentality. But that aside, we are all tasked, especially when we get older, to start establishing, learning about boundaries and making firmer boundaries, okay, in order to protect ourselves, okay, our energy, not just our physical selves, not just our environment or what's next to us, but also what's emotional, what's in here, what's energetic, okay? You need boundaries. You cannot let people rob you from your boundaries. That includes your parents, that includes your siblings, that includes your partner, that includes everyone, okay? Everyone needs boundaries at all times. There's no unconditional love without boundaries. I still believe that, my parent can love me unconditionally, but I still gonna need boundaries, and they're still gonna need boundaries. And that's just the way life is, okay? That's how you show love, by respecting yourself and loving yourself. So boundaries are immensely important. And if you have boundaries, your kids are gonna learn boundaries, they're gonna know how to have boundaries, and they're not gonna have to go through that same grueling path that you go through, learning about boundaries, learning about, being a victim, learning about victim mindset, etc. So have boundaries, and you're gonna see other people are gonna start having boundaries too, and that's what is needed in society. Life lesson number 24 is stop putting your foot in your mouth. Now, this is something I had to learn a very hard way, and it's that even saying things as a joke, or even saying things like, oh, I hope I don't mess up, or I hope I don't do this, or I hope I don't will literally give the universe a push towards doing that, if that makes sense. Like, you say, I hope that I get the same grade again, and it's just that idea of that, like, there's that uncertainty that you might not get that same grade, you're not gonna get that same grade, okay? It's not always that case, but it can be that case. It's like, instead of saying you're going to marry a rich man or you're going to be very happy in your marriage, you're telling someone, well, I hope you don't marry someone poor. I hope you don't become unhappy. It's like you're already putting that energy out into the air, and the air is receptive to that energy, and so it will give it, even when you're putting that energy for other people, and even when other people are putting that energy for yourself. So you need to be very careful with your words. You really need to be careful with your energy and how you're putting it up, how you're framing it. And it's very strange at first because it's a very hard practice to live life like that and to even intentionally think it and feel it that way. I don't want to ask myself anymore, what if I fail? What if I get rejected? It's like you need to change it again. It's again going back a little bit to abundance, and you need to retrain your brain, retrain your patterns of speech and thinking into, I'm not going to fail, it's going to work out. And it's going to work out. It's always going to work out. It's always going to work out. My next partner is going to be an amazing partner. My next book is going to be a success. My next travel is going to be soon. You know what I mean? Like, you need to like put things in the air correctly. You cannot even put doubts in the air, because that's what you're going to have. You're going to get those doubts back. It's a very crazy concept. I learned about it a year and a half ago, forgot about it, learn the hard way about how it comes back into your life, how it's going to teach you a lesson, and then now I'm slowly back into that. Okay, I'm not going to put my foot in the mouth anymore. I'm going to be very careful what other people are saying next to me and what I'm saying and what I'm thinking. So don't put your foot in your mouth. Don't put negative. Don't put self-doubt. Don't put those opportunities for the things to turn the other way from what you really want out there, okay? Don't. You know, you are beautiful, you're brave, you're strong, you're this, you're rich, you're that. Don't put that what if, or oh, I'm actually poor right now, or I'm actually this right now, or I'm actually really fat right now. Don't put that out there. Don't. Do not. Retract it. That's it. Life lesson 25. It's only too late when you think it's too late. So if you're 5, 10, 15, 20, 55, 85, 75, and you think to yourself, well, it's too late for me to do that, well then, you know what? It is too late for you to do that, because the moment you start thinking it's too late, the moment you start thinking certain things in a certain way, it's the moment that you're going to prove yourself that it is too late. So as long as you tell yourself it's not too late, I got this, or I could still do this and I can still do that, then you will see. There are people that have changed their lives, that have published bestsellers late into their lifetime, late into their career. There are people that have done completely different career path. There are people that have like created families when they really thought that they could never have children, and it's never too late. It's always now. The right moment is always now. It's never too late. It's only too late when you really think and you believe it is too late, and when you say that it's too late. Obviously you might come up with arguments for this, but I still believe that in the realm of reality, like I'm talking about like real things here, it's never too late. So if you want to start becoming an engineer, you can start becoming an engineer even if you're 45 years old, you know? It's never too late, and people have proved that time and time again. It's only too late when you seriously believe it's too late and you seriously don't want that thing. Then it's too late, then it's not gonna happen. So I hope you enjoy this video. It was a long one, coming back with a very long video. My throat kind of hurts. I've been sick for the last 2 weeks, so this is the first day where I'm feeling much better, but now I'm starting to feel a little bit congested. So yeah, I really wanted to share these 25 life lessons. I really wanted to articulate these. I wanted to have this video also for myself, like a time capsule every year, to see what are new things that I'm learning and what are the same lessons that I keep on learning, right? There are some lessons that I keep on learning year after year, so it's that, you know, personal reference point to see like how far have I come, what new things has life offered me. And obviously take what resonates with you and leave what doesn't. It can be that some things resonate with you now and they won't in the future, and it can be that some things don't resonate with you at all right now and they will in the future. I remember watching similar videos and listening to similar content before and being like, oh, these delusional people are actually delusional in the wrong way possible, right? And now look at me now, I'm like, okay, be as delusional as you can, aim higher, always aim higher. And like, it has shifted my life and my mindset. And that's just something that I had to be on a journey myself to get to that point. Now, it could be that you'll never get to that point. It will be that you've passed that point. Everything can happen. You know, life lessons are for you to take and for you to explore. And at the end of the day, you need to have your own life lessons, and you need to go through life yourself in your own way, and, you know, journal about it if you want. Having said that, I do hope that some of these life lessons were essential or valuable to you. I do hope that some of these have made you think about things, have made you feel more inspired or better, or just more like in tune with yourself. As always, feel free to share your own life lessons. Feel free to share your own thoughts. Obviously, like I said, these are all like personal to me. Could be that you don't agree. That's fine. Be respectful. Share your own opinions and thoughts. Obviously, like, these are just my own personal life lessons. And as always, feel free to talk to me. Feel free to follow me everywhere else. I will be coming back with more frequent videos. And if you want anything to be discussed more in depth, so if you want me to talk about boundaries, or if you want me to talk about scarcity versus abundant mindset, let me know down below. Anything that I talked about or anything else you want to see, relationships, self-help, anything related to books and stuff like that, you know, you can always ask and I will try to deliver. So yeah, having said that, I'm so excited to be 26. It's gonna be such a great year. It is such a great year already, and I'll see you on the next shelf. Bye!